And what is the event that's going on tonight?
It's the Memorial March of Edmonton, the 9th year that we walk to memorialize all the women we've lost to violence.
And why is this such an important issue for you?
I've lost a lot of friends to violence. I lost my sister to violence. And we're losing too many of our women and our loved ones to stupid acts that can be avoided. One of the things I want to push and talk about is alcohol and drugs are stealing our kids and they're stealing our people. And I don't mean just Aboriginal people, I mean people as in our loved ones. And it's time we start to take a look at that and start to realize that we're all here for a purpose, and it's not right for somebody to lose their life over something so silly.
Mm-hmm. And how did you get involved with becoming the organizer of this annual event?
I lost 2 of my friends to murder, and they were called prostitutes, they were called crackheads, they were called addicts. And I didn't know them in that sense. And it really bothered me because behind closed doors, I was an addict. I was actively using crack cocaine. And I thought in my mind, because I'm an addict and because I sold my body, I deserve to die? I don't think so.
Is this an issue that you think the government is paying enough attention to? And if not, what do you think the government should be doing?
I don't think that the government is taking a look at this. I don't believe that they will care until it happens to them. And I do believe that we need to start putting more money into education. And I truly believe that more money needs to be going into teaching our youth about prostitution, pimping, gang violence, alcohol, drugs, family violence, all those subjects that everybody's scared to talk about.
And what else would you like people to know about what's going on here?
The one thing that I want to say is that this isn't just a woman's issue. It's a people issue. And we're losing our men as well as our women. And all of this can be taken care of. And I keep saying this every day, is we have to start looking at each other as human beings and not human doings.
The whole picture look at everyone, not just women anymore. You know what I mean? You know where I'm going.
Yeah, you can start now.
Country for years and years and years. Many of us have worked really, really hard to bring acknowledgement for the missing and murdered women. And now we're acknowledging our brothers, the men that are missing and possibly murdered, and some that have been. We need to change the perception of the general public that anybody deserves to have their life taken. When a child is ripped from a family, it rips your heart out. And it doesn't matter that the general public only amplifies our hurt and our pain when they bring up lifestyle choices, high-risk lifestyles, all those kinds of things. Drug addicts, heaven forbid that anybody be addicted to anything. When they're sitting in their cozy little houses with their glass of wine saying, "Oh, another prostitute got killed." And they're sitting there drinking, and we're in our pain. Our communities and our families are in our pain. And we can't sit back and let that happen anymore. I've stood at too many gravesides. I've sat in houses. I've sat in hospitals with families comforting and trying to make sense of these things. Some of us know how it feels. And you know, there's only one judge, and that's the big guy that sits above us. He's the one that's to judge. We need to start helping one another. We need to move back to caring and compassion for each other, for our neighbors, for our community. Because we see one of these young people doing something wrong and we just ignore it and say, "Oh, they got bad parents." Well, I parented my own 5 children and at least another 5 grandchildren, and I fostered I don't know how many. And there is no bad parents. There's kids that grow up and make choices. And no matter, I quit drinking 33 years ago, and every one of my kids has experienced drinking. My grandchildren experienced drinking and drugs. It's not because I didn't stand at my pulpit and preach the 12 steps and putting the plug in the jug. It's because they made choices. And sometimes those choices are fatal, and they rip our hearts out. And I say this because I know the feeling. I've lost 2 grandchildren, one just recently. And I know how it feels. And when I sit with the parents of young women whose lives have been taken, there's no words you can say to even make it make sense. So instead of being all cozy and snug in our little houses, let's reach out and try and help one another. You know, the young people talk about a bro code, but they don't understand that the bro code means when I have your back, I have it. I wouldn't let you do anything that would hurt you or anybody else. That's what it means. It's not just a word, it's not just a number of words. There is a code, and we used to live by it. When I was a young person, I used to be out there, and we never left anybody alone. And if we didn't have good feelings about somebody, we'd either stay with our friend or drag them out of there. We've got to do something. You know, and I talk about women because they're the backbone of the community. Every one of us came from a woman. And not every woman is cut out to be a mother or a grandmother, because some people didn't have the luxury of a family to role model those kinds of things. I was lucky. I had the strongest mother that I've ever seen. She's 93 and she still tunes me up. You know, and I'm not a teenager anymore. I wish. But she does. She tells the stories of the old people and the old way of living. And her heart breaks every time she hears us talk about the struggles we have. We need to all work together. I don't care what nation you come from, because the pain is the same no matter what nation you come from. The pain is the same, and it hurts, and it's overwhelming and overpowering many, many times. And the women struggle, and over history, the role of women has been marginalized. At one time, we had equal power in the ceremonies, in the family, and in the community. But the settlers that came here had other ways, because in the Western cultures, the women didn't have any rights. They had a role, but they didn't have rights. And that all changed. And for some of us, we grew up either believing that we were Indian princess or easy squaws. And I am neither of them, and neither is anybody else, no matter what nation you come from. We're not princesses, and we're not easy. And nobody knows the life that people had before their incident happened. Nobody wakes up and decides that they're going to go out and get murdered, or get raped, or get hurt. Nobody wakes up one morning and says that's what their day is going to be about. And nobody knows how it is for the mothers and the fathers and the grandparents and the brothers and sisters of these girls and boys that go missing, what they feel and how they struggle to even be able to understand it all. And it's difficult, and we need to work with one another, and we need to put away our differences. If we looked at the similarities in each other rather than the differences, we'd all get along a lot better, because we do that. We pick and we judge, and that's the stuff we learned. We've got to unlearn it and learn new ways if we're going to be successful in having a life, if we're going to work with each other, and if we're going to change the attitude that women and lives are disposable. They're not. They're sacred. They're sacred lives given by Creator, and only He should be taking them back home when He is ready for them, not other human beings. And I needed to say that because so many people make it sound like it's okay, and it's not okay. It's not okay to take another life. It's not okay to harm another life. It's not okay to let somebody get harmed or hurt. And so it's time. It's time we woke up and got out of our cozy little nests and started caring for one another, because that's what's going to make a difference. That's what's going to make a difference. And I thank you for listening. And I thank you for hearing the pain and hearing sometimes that we just feel that it's changing so slow that it doesn't feel like it's moving. It doesn't feel like it's moving, and we need to make it move. We need to make noise. We need to get on the bandwagon and say, no more lives. No more stolen lives. Because no human being has the right to take another life. So with that, I say hi. Thank you. Thank you for listening.